Is that what we have?
No, Tolu Adela says bias error. Toyo Alada says KPIs that are not measurable. Chinedu says, I heard of 121 recently at the time of appraisal. Line manager asked, Femi Afolabi, can you please mute? It says,
Line
I
manager
heard of
asked,
121 recently.
okay.
At the time of appraisal, a line manager asked his report to write his own JD and KPI, and if he didn't do it, it won't be confirmed. Ademika Balogun says leniency error.
Leniency.
Anayo Daniel Onoa says, yeah, stereotyping error.
Please keep it coming. We like to read from you.
Yeah.
Keep it coming. We have about 2 minutes for that. 2 minutes more.
I'm waiting for somebody to put in parallax error.
You can put it in if nobody's putting it.
Okay. Okay. Ademika Balogun says central tendency error. Error. So I will be putting Femi Afolabi in the waiting room.
Okay.
For a while. Yeah.
I'm not. I guess maybe he's not even aware that.
Yeah. Moradike says primacy error.
Primacy.
Damilola Nicola says similarly errors.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, do we stop here or we still have some people typing in?
Well, no new one for now, so I think we can move.
Okay. Thank you everyone for your feedback. Yes. Okay, so definition of error. I would like to define error as an omission. Personally, omission, and then according to my slide, you can read from the slide, is an act or condition of ignorance or imprudent deviation from a code of behavior. That sounds too formal, but that's why I said, let me define it as an omission, a mistake. That's the common language, a mistake, a deviation, an act involving an unintentional deviation from truth or accuracy. If we remember why we have appraiser in the first place, we would agree with me that it is expedient that we identify the types of error so that we can mitigate against it. You remember that decisions are to be made using appraisal, feedback, and a summary. So decisions by management, decisions by human resources, even individuals will make decisions, they will take steps. It's a process that does not end at the end of the appraisal. So when we identify the errors that can be associated with this, it's going to go a long way to help us so that the whole exercise is not an effort in futility and then we are not misguided. Management is not misguided and human resources professional is not wasting resources of the organization, and at the end of the day you are not able to bring out any concrete or anything from the old system. An appraiser error, so I'm defining error in respect to appraisal, so you could have other definition for errors. It's an act that through ignorance, deficiency, or accident depart from the main focus. We are set out to measure this, but because of a kind of error, the kind of errors that's been mentioned, leniency, recency, comparison, parallax, and the other types of error, because of such errors, you are not able to achieve what has been set to achieve. So even though we have invested so much time, funds, even emotion into it, it ends up being a waste of time, and it can be disheartening. It's actually what takes food off table for some of the HR professionals, because You have aroused people's interest, you have aroused their expectation, or people have so much belief that, oh, after this, I would be able, at least the management would be able to say that, oh, I have put in this effort, I will get this reward and all that. And then at the end of the day, because of errors that we could have prevented or avoided, it has turned into a mess. Errors can be a potential greenfield. This is my definition, which can improve a process if appropriately managed. So by greenfield, I mean it's an opportunity to improve our process. That if we manage it, that there is a caveat there, if it is appropriately managed. If it is not appropriately managed, it can mar the process as against helping us to develop our process. Are we getting, please, are we picking one or two things so far from
Yes,
this?
we're soaking it in.
Thank you. It's just Tunde that is giving me the feedback. It's okay.
It's,
Performance appraisal.
after you is me, so I can decide to meet them.
Okay, that's true. Performance
Exactly.
appraisal errors can be said to be inadequacies as well in the cycle, in the management process. So when we are now focusing on appraisal errors, it is not limited to the appraisal, because appraisal is a subset of a management cycle, a performance management cycle. So the appraisal error could be born out from the other cycle, from other points in the performance management cycle. Remember, we have the strategy alignment, the first one, the KPI setting, the appraisal discussion, the methodology, the rewards from the appraisal, the feedback and reward, and then the talent development, the planning and all that. So these errors may not necessarily be on the appraisal exercise itself. It could be also from the planning, which is another part of performance management. But the good thing and the good news about the whole thing, about the error, is if it's a mistake, it is realized, it can be corrected. If it is identified beforehand, it can be avoided. If it is even, it has been done, it can be corrected. Maybe not on that period of appraisal, on the other one. So it's a learning phase from each cycle to another. The bad thing about it is if we fail to identify what the errors we have made during a cycle or an exercise is, and then we do it all over again, we cannot keep repeating mistakes and expect that you have a different output or a outcome. So identifying it, it is not having the error that is the challenge. It is being able to identify, combating, and preventing it to avoid a repetition. So thank you for the other ones you have said. I have grouped the performance appraisals error in three for the purpose of this presentation. Three of it. First is the system error. System error. This system error is the error that is associated with the design of the appraisal system. We know that there are different schools of thought on the kind of methodology you want to use. We have 360-degree, we have a balanced scorecard, the traditional method, we have various ones, you know them. These are the system error is that one that has to do with the design of the appraisal. From the rating issue, okay, you know, from way back, as far as I know our seniors may have some other things on this. F9, the grade of F9 from WAEC or GCE is from 40 below. But I remember at a point we used to have a D1, D2, and D7, E1. Can anybody remember this? Where you have
Yeah, E8, this seven.
E8, E8, D7. Thank you.
Yeah.
E8, D7. So this rating I'm talking, that's what I'm trying to describe when I'm saying rating error. So for your organization, maybe you have set out that from 100% to 120% is A plus. That's distinction or outstanding or exceptional. And then from 50 below is below average. It depends on what works for organization, but there can be errors associated with this rating. So when you are doing the design and you are saying that any employee who falls between grades 80 to 81, 80 to 71 is a good performer, like just a good. And then you want to do the next one, you say 90 to 95 is excellent. You will see that there is a range difference, and it's very it does not align. You have between the numbers of 1 to 10 for good, and then 1 to 5 for excellent. So there can be issues with this rating. I am not saying that you should use 10 or 5, but we need to look deeply into this and be able to say this is what will work best for my organization, or look at other designs that have been used, that's been tested in time past, the errors they have made on such, before you design or before you decide what will be used on your own. Training issues. This is also a system error. It may occur when we have employees who have little or no knowledge. A lot of time we assume that people know so much. And believe you me, we don't, even ourselves, we don't know as much as people would think we know. And in this era of padding, what do I call it? Social media, everybody can talk, everybody can hack it, but when it's time to do it, you don't. It's a different ball game. So when we assume that people know stuff, oh, I've been a manager for 11 years, rating my employees shouldn't be an issue, or the head of internal audit should not find it hard to to appraise the same or do the other ones. And then when you have somebody, please, can you tell my daughter to leave me alone? She's disturbing me. And after I have informed, educated them that this is a section I need my attention to. This may, thank you, Daddy. I'm sorry for that interruption.
No
Okay,
problem.
so these training issues is also, it includes undefined roles and accountability. So this has to do with the job description. You have employed someone, an employee has come on board, and there is no clear or defined task that this person is going to be measured on. Of course, the person is not coming in to sit, he's full of activities, but activities without without a clear or the defined mode of being measured is going to affect and the entire appraisal thing at the end of the day. Data not collected on ongoing basis. Remember that some school of thought says appraisal should be done quarterly, monthly, weekly. We even have some persons that say, oh, we should check how far we are doing on a weekly basis. But I would call that